Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is wonderful Wednesday, March 10th, and so we're going to go over the assignment for today. It's a continuation of yesterday, and it's all about finding x. And so yesterday we talked about solving for x by adding and subtracting to get x by itself. And now today we're going to be looking more at multiplying and dividing to get x by itself. So you go ahead and click on the doc. And first off, you're going to make a copy. So click in the top left corner and click on Make a Copy. And now this is yours to edit, insert pictures, type on. And you're going to go ahead and take a look at the learning targets. It says, I can solve for variables such as x in equations with decimals and negative numbers. So it's going to be the same concept as yesterday, except now we have decimals and negative numbers involved. We're also going to solve for variables by dividing or multiplying. And so here are the materials that you'll need. They'll be located in your What is Algebra packet, and it's solving basic equations with decimals, solving basic equations with negative numbers. Those are the first two worksheets we'll complete. And then you'll have an exercise sheet here, and it's called Solving Basic Equations, and this is going to be part 2. And so there's a help video located on Canvas to help you through this, and then there are also 2 worksheets to go along with it. And they're kind of the main learning targets of today, which is using multiplication and division to solve for x. The additional materials that you'll need are Chromebook, headphones, notebook, highlighter, and colored pencil. And for today's launch, we're going to talk about how equations are like scales. In other words, what I take from one side, I also have to take from the other. In other words, if I add 5 to one side, it might be a little bit heavier. But then if I add 5 to the other side, now we balanced out. And that's the whole idea of algebra here. So you're going to fill in the blanks here where it says answer here and answer here. And then you're going to complete the first lesson of the day. You're going to first start off by watching this Edpuzzle and solving basic equations with decimals and negative numbers. And then you are going to try it for yourself. Complete a worksheet here and complete this worksheet here. They're both located in your materials packet. You're going to upload a photo of both completed pages, and then you're going to move on to the second lesson of the day. The second lesson is solving one-step equations part 2, meaning we bring in multiplication and division. So you're going to complete the solving basic equations part 2 exercise sheet and the set 1 worksheet for multiplication and division. As we look at these worksheets here, we can think about what we learned yesterday. We learned that multiplication is implied in algebra, meaning you don't need to write that multiplication symbol that looks like an X anymore. Instead, you could just write a number next to a variable like 2 in B, or you could write 2.b, or 2 and then in parentheses B. So we have a few options here. And then we took a look at solving basic equations with addition or subtraction. And notice here, when we zoom in, there are a few different ways that we can do this. So when we have x plus 7, well, we can start off by subtracting 7 so that we get x by itself. And if we subtract 7 from one side, we have to do it to the other side. 19 minus 7 gives us 12. X equals 12. And if we ever have minus x, so 14 minus a number equals 5, we're actually going to start by adding x to both sides. And we're going to do this so that way we can keep our x positive. Otherwise, if we subtracted 14 from here, then we would have a negative on this side, and we'd also have a negative x still on this side. And we want to prevent that. So let's go ahead and add x to both sides. So now we have 14 equals 5x, and now we can cancel out that 5. Subtract 5 from this side as well, and that turns into 9. So 9 equals x, or x equals 9. A little bit of review on what we talked about yesterday. Now, today, we are incorporating multiplication. And we know it's multiplication because it's implied that 3 next to a number or 6 next to a variable is 3 times a number or 6 times a number. So let's go ahead and figure out how we could undo this multiplication. Well, we know that when we wanted to undo the addition, we subtracted. So when we want to undo the multiplication, we're going to divide, right? We want to do the inverse operation or the opposite operation. So here, instead of multiplying by 3, we're going to divide by 3. And I can show division by putting it as a fraction over 3. Same thing over here, 6 divided by 3. And this is going to give me just x on this side. And that's because this 3 and that 3 cancel out. And then 6 divided by 3 gives me 2, so x equals 2. And we can put in x into the equation to make sure that that's correct. So let's go ahead and put in our x equals 2. So now I'm going to write it as 3 times 2, show them with my parentheses, equals 6. Is that accurate? You bet. So we can put a check mark and move on. All right, here I want to undo my 6 times 3, so I'm going to divide by 6, divide by 6. That gives me just x on this side equals 4. Now there's going to be a few problems like solve for x here, where it's x over 4 equals 3. So what operation would we need to do to undo the division? Because right now we're dividing by 4. Well, to undo division, we're going to need to multiply. So we're going to do 4 times x over 4 on this side, and also do 3 times 4 on that side. So when we do 4 times a number over 4, we can think about that as 4 over 1 times a number over 4. And if we multiply across, we get 4x over 4. And here we just have our 4's cross out. So we're left with just x on this side. And then over here we have 3 times 4, which gives us 12. X equals 12. Let's go ahead and try it out. Let's put our number that we solved for back into the equation. 12 over 4, or 12 divided by 4, equals 3. Is that accurate? You bet. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next problem. Let's take a look at this one real quick. It says 10 divided by a number equals 4. This one might require a little bit of thinking, all right? And so here it's asking, if we start with 10, so 10 is our start, what number would we have to divide by to equal 4? All right, so think about how this one might start out. Obviously, we see division, so we're thinking we're going to need to multiply here to undo it. But how exactly do I want to do that? All right, so that is the assignment for today there. And then you're going to complete the worksheet that goes with it. If I scroll right over here. And this is the set 1. All right, and it gives you a few examples, like here, multiply by 5 to get rid of the division, divide by 4 to get rid of the multiplication. And you're just going to use this to complete the rest of these problems and these problems, okay? And then for some extra credit, some extra help, you're going to complete all of these problems on set 2. And pay attention to questions 1 and 2 because they help you out. They give you examples of how you can complete the rest of the problems. All right, so after you complete that, you're going to insert your pictures here of your completed worksheets. And remember, if you have trouble on that exercise sheet, or if you just want some extra help or some guidance, then you can go to Canvas, and there will be a sheet for solving basic equations exercises. So let's go ahead and check it out. Here I am back at Canvas. I go to my home screen, and right there at the bottom, Solving Basic Equations, Part 2 Exercise Help Video. That's exactly what we're looking for. All right, so I can click on that. It'll give me some extra guidance, help me complete my worksheet. And then we have closure here. There's just a few questions. Please answer the following questions about your lesson today. If I have 3x by itself on one side of the equation, how do I get x by itself? And then we talk about why do we use letters and symbols. And you're going to type your answers here and here. And then here's your homework for the day. There's a really quick 6-question quiz, and that's due by the end of today. And then we have one additional worksheet. That's the set 2 I mentioned, and that's for extra credit, excuse me. And then you're going to complete this document and submit it. Make sure you've entered in all of the pictures, answered all the questions, shown all of your work. And remember, if you want to, you can also upload all of your completed work here on this page at the very end, just to make things easier. All right, that is it for today. You're going to go ahead and submit it right here where you grabbed it from Canvas, and that will be all you have to do. Hopefully, I'll see you for the noon Zoom. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great Wednesday.